Hello guys, welcome to Simp Recap channel. Today we are going to recapping a new video in Paris. Sam attends a party hosted by his ex-girlfriend. His purpose is to retrieve his old tapes, not to enjoy the party. While waiting, Sam asks his ex where his belongings are, and she guides him to an office, suggesting they talk later. Ignoring the drunken people in the hallway, Sam goes into the office, locks the door for privacy, and begins to search for his things. Suddenly, his nose starts bleeding, so he grabs some tissues and sits down to rest. Eventually he falls asleep. So when moments later, there is lots of shouting and chaos outside. He doesn't hear a thing. The next morning, Sam wakes up and grabs his things to leave. But as soon as he opens the door, he's horrified to discover the entire place is a huge mess and there's blood everywhere. After grabbing a random object to defend himself, Sam checks outside the apartment only to discover all the party people, including his ex, have turned into zombies. As they try to attack him, Sam quickly closes the door. He looks out the window and sees the same grim scene everywhere, people turning into zombies and others being chased and attacked. The streets of Paris are chaotic, and a family's attempt to escape in their car ends tragically when the noise attracts zombies who swarm and kill them. Sam checks the guests' abandoned jackets and bags and finds their cell phones. He listens to their desperate calls for help and final messages to loved ones. When the corridor falls silent, he leaves the apartment and heads to the rooftop. Unable to find any help, Sam resolves to survive. He starts by cleaning the rooms to remove infected blood. Suddenly, a strange noise from the apartment below grabs his attention, and a gunshot creates a hole in the floor. Peering through it, he discovers that his downstairs neighbor has taken his own life. Intrigued, Sam retrieves a metal bar and enlarges the hole to access the apartment below. After covering the deceased man with a blanket, he checks on the other body and realizes that the initial noise he heard was the man shooting his infected wife. And then he couldn't live with it. Then Sam raids the kitchen for food, grabs the man's weapon, and takes all the bullets he can find. After making sure the corridor is clear of zombies, he comes out and goes downstairs, closing every door he sees on the way. When he makes it to the front entrance, he finds the zombies outside, so he rushes to close the door right before they can reach for him. Now that the building has been secured, Sam goes to the caretaker's room and grabs the keys to all the apartments while ignoring the zombie reaching through the window. He also finds a can of tuna that he quickly eats. Sam collects supplies and useful items from the apartment below, arranging the keys by apartment number to systematically check each room. Upon entering the first apartment, he encounters a family turned into zombies and is attacked. After a struggle, he manages to fend off the zombie, then exits and marks an X on the door to avoid returning. Sam proceeds to inspect the other apartments, fortunately finding them empty. He gathers food and occasionally grabs additional items like a paintball gun. As a musician, he's delighted to discover an MP3 player. Among the findings are old cassettes and a set of drums. After inspecting all the apartments, Sam equips himself with a face mask and secures the area. However, he's taken aback when the elevator unexpectedly moves, revealing a non-aggressive zombie. Instead of killing it, Sam uses a belt to fasten the iron fence and prevent it from escaping. Later in the evening, Sam enjoys a meal while reminiscing with his old tapes, evoking pleasant memories. The following day, he observes the zombies outside and then proceeds to organize the collected food, carefully rationing it and maintaining a record in a notebook. He also uses the dirt on a window to draw a grid and start counting the days. Afterward, he goes back to looking around the apartment and eventually ends up playing the drums to release some tension. However, he must be careful because all the noise attracts the zombies to the window. Days start to pass and Sam tries his best to keep himself busy. He marks the days on the window, cooks his own meals, and sometimes at night he goes to the roof to watch the empty city. Using the paintball gun, he starts a game of shooting the zombies on the street and crossing them out on his ex's pictures. He also records sounds he makes with random objects and creates music with them. One day, Sam realizes there's a strong stench and looks into the apartment below to realize the bodies are rotting. He picks them up and takes them to the balcony, but he can't bring himself to throw them away like trash. Instead, he puts them inside sleeping bags and leaves them on their bed together with some of their important belongings. After offering a moment of silence, Sam leaves the room and seals the door with tape so the stench won't escape. Afterwards, Sam takes a shower, only for the water to simply stop running. Later, while he's in bed, Sam is startled by a strange noise and envisions a zombie horde invading his room, prompting a painful shout. But he wakes up to realize it was just a bad dream. The following day, he adds exercise to his routine, jogging around the building while enjoying music. When he pauses by the elevator, he extends a hand to the non-aggressive zombie and dubs him Alfred. At a later point, rain finally arrives, and Sam collects water using various pots and containers to wash himself. He then settles next to the elevator, smoking a cigar, engaging in a one-sided conversation with his newfound friend, Alfred. Sam finds it really tough not knowing what happened to his family. One day, he's by the window with a paintball gun and spots a cat outside. He hurries downstairs, checks for zombies, and offers the cat some tuna. The cat is cautious but hungry, so it inches closer. Suddenly, a loud noise startles the cat. Worried, Sam sets down his weapon, leaves the door open, and quietly searches for the cat, hiding behind cars. but a zombie sees him anyway and comes after him. Sam immediately gets inside the vehicle and kicks the zombie through the window, only to notice a second zombie is also coming. With a quick move, Sam moves into the back seat and escapes through the passenger door. Then he runs back into the building and closes the door before the zombies can catch him. Once he's back in the apartment, Sam looks out the window and notices the cat is just chilling next to the zombies, so he shoots it. Then he turns around and sees blood on the floor, which makes him realize his leg was wounded by the zombie in the car. After cleaning the wound, he sits in front of a mirror, holding a weapon, unsure if he's infected. He positions the weapon to self-destruct if needed. After a while, he falls asleep, and the weapon accidentally fires a bullet, narrowly missing him. Sam wakes up relieved, realizing he's unchanged. Later, while tending to his plants, he hears a strange noise and calls out, but gets no response. Peering through the window, he sees a person in the building across the street, but he can't tell if it's a zombie or not. He goes to the roof for a better look, but there are no signs of life. It's starting to get cold now, so when he returns to the apartment, Sam makes a pillow fort and starts a fire to heat some water for a warm bath. While he's trying to relax, he hears noises again, but they quickly disappear. Later, Sam begins to worry about the amount of food he has left, so he grabs a bag and goes outside to look for supplies. However, this turns out to be just his imagination, because in the end he doesn't dare to leave. Feeling incredibly lonely, Sam starts to drink, and one afternoon, he yells at Alfred, mentioning how he hasn't seen any zombies for days and how they're both alone now. He accidentally spills some drink on Alfred, who starts shaking the door and causes Sam's rant to escalate into yelling. Furious about his current situation, he throws the bottle against the wall and runs back to the apartment. He's so desperate not to be alone that Sam begins playing the drums again, and the noise brings back the zombies, who gather outside the window trying to reach for a yelling Sam. Afterward, Sam apologizes to Alfred for all the things he said. Some time later, Sam is carefully rationing his remaining food, listening to old family tapes that bring him to tears, causing him to push things off the table. In the evening, he's startled by a noise and quickly shoots at the door. Regrettably, he finds he's shot an innocent woman, not a zombie. Sam cares for her wounds, removes the bullet, and pleads for her to stay with him. As he steps out of the room, he notices the woman's bag, containing some rope and a hook. Sam, in the midst of his grief, is startled by a noise and makes a surprising discovery: the woman he accidentally shot has somehow survived. Offering her some pigeon soup, he learns her name is Sarah, and she has been surviving by leaping between buildings using a hook. She shares that she's encountered a few survivors hiding in apartments, but many have succumbed to madness. Sarah mentions that zombies struggle with heights, yet she has never stayed in one place for more than a week. Sam reassures her that their current building is safe, but Sarah remains cautious, explaining that the gunshot from the previous night drew the attention of the zombies, and eventually they will tear down the door out of sheer persistence. Sam is doing his daily walk through the building and Sarah comes with him. She gets scared when they walk in front of Alfred, but Sam promises he'd never eat either of them. Afterward, Sam begins making music again and is delighted to see Sarah helping him with it. In the evening, Sam smokes while chatting with Alfred and wonders if he'll be able to make it now that he has proper company. Eventually, there's almost no food left for both of them, so Sam has to take drastic measures. He returns to the door with the axe, cuts a hole in it, and then shoots every zombie inside. Now he can safely go inside and take all the food he can find. Afterward, he returns to his apartment and notices Sarah isn't there. He looks around and finds her on the roof. Apparently, she's looking for a way to leave soon. She wants to practice jumping toward the building across the street, but Sam protests because it's too dangerous. Sarah disagrees, explaining that if they stay they'll either go mad and self-delete, or the zombies will eventually manage to break down the door. Furious, Sarah storms back into the apartment. Sam follows her, but when she doesn't answer, Sam slowly comprehends the truth of the situation. Sarah never woke up during his care, she existed only in his mind as a hallucination. As he enters the room, he discovers her lifeless body on the bed and breaks into tears, tenderly holding her hand. He drapes her with a sheet and lights candles, offering a heartfelt farewell. While re-examining her bag, he stumbles upon a digital camera. Looking through the photos, he initially finds images of Sarah and her family. However, his world shatters when he comes across a photo of himself on the roof, confirming that Sarah was the presence in the neighboring building. Acknowledging his descent into madness, Sam makes the difficult decision that it's time to leave. He starts by lighting all his old tapes on fire. Then he grabs Sarah's bag and goes to the roof to escape. However, he remembers Alfred and decides to free him. Alfred doesn't attack. Instead, he follows him around and Sam sends him into an apartment. At that moment, the burning tapes activate the fire alarm and the zombies finally break down the front door, desperately coming after Sam. He shoots as many zombies as he can, but eventually they make him fall. So he pushes them away and decides to run instead of fighting. Now the elevator is free. Sam runs inside and closes the gate. Sam, disregarding the outstretched, grasping hands around him, begins to ascend the elevator shaft. He dashes into an unoccupied apartment, but a zombie tailingly pursues him. Sam seizes the curtains and shrouds the zombie with them, keeping it momentarily preoccupied. However, as he attempts to flee, an accidental collision with objects on the floor betrays his presence. In response, Sam swiftly strikes the zombie a couple of times and employs a couch to ensnare it. Subsequently, Sam clambers onto the couch and ventures through a hole to return to his own apartment, which is now filled with smoke. There are lots of zombies around too, but the smoke allows Sam to slowly walk around undetected. Eventually, he makes it to the roof and uses Sarah's hook to throw the rope toward the other building. There's a zombie coming after him, so Sam jumps without much thought and hits his body against the wall. After a brief lapse, Sam regains consciousness and breathes a sigh of relief for having eluded danger. While a zombie lurks at the window below, Sam decides to scale all the way to the rooftop and gazes out at the city skyline. Suddenly, distant noises catch his attention, raising his hopes that they might be the sounds of other survivors. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this.